Hey guys, how are you? I'm excited to do this very first video for you of the day. I have a double header happening on my channel, as I've mentioned in my Telegram channel. If you're not following me on Telegram, I highly suggest you jump into that. The link is in the description below because I'm always offering different insights and wisdoms and updates on what's going on. Before we get into this video, which is a really important video, I think, during this time for us to get into, I want to say thank you and a special shout out to Hats. I've been partnering with Hats. They've got a Telegram channel, and they are the biggest and fastest growing international community of truth seekers and spiritual warriors. I would like to shout out to Dan Jelinsek and for being so awesome in the movement. And if you guys are interested in joining this group, the Hats Telegram channel is in the description below. Okay, so let's get into today's topic, which is all about clearing our energy field, really kind of allowing ourselves to move on this path of ascension and not get weighed down by all of the fear and all of the duality that's happening right now. As you guys, if you missed my last message that was on Sunday, I put out a Pleiadian message about this, and I highly suggest you go watch it if you haven't. But it's basically one of the reasons why I had to do that video and why I'm also doing this one is because we are being asked to upgrade quickly. Okay, and what that means is when you're being asked to upgrade your frequencies, upgrade your vibration, upgrade your DNA, meaning turning on active gene expression that has been turned off. And you can actually manipulate your own DNA expression through the frequencies that you hold, through the belief systems that you hold. So it's really important right now to keep your energetic field clean, as I like to call it, spiritual hygiene, very important. So that you're not getting distracted or overrun by unwanted energies. So these unwanted energies can come to you in a variety of different ways. For those of you who may be new to this, I'll just quickly explain that, people that you're connected with, whether they're family members, friends, a partner, like an intimate partner, co-workers, even just like people you see on the TV and things like that. If you're really connecting with those energies in a way where maybe it's through Discord, like you've got there's an argument or you're just upset with what you're hearing, you can create these energy cords with that person, even if it's through a TV or anything like that. And that energy cord now is an active highway of transference of your energy and their energy. Which means if that person is having, it's not even about them having negative thoughts about you. Even if they're kind of having a state of fear, if they're in a state of fear, you're going to start feeling that fear. And many of those of us who are starseeds or on this ascension pathway, really opening up spiritually, you're empathic. And it's important to understand the empathy, the way we're designed empathically is that we can take on a lot of energy without even realizing it. So you could be feeling fearful and it's not even your fear and you don't even know why you're feeling scared. And so clearing out your field of unwanted cords is important. Now, the other aspect to keep in mind too is that cord runs both ways. So if you're feeling really good and you're attached to someone who's got this parasitic energy where they just like to take energy, which is very common when people are in lower frequencies, they're fearful, they're going to start siphoning your energy away. So not only do you not want certain energy hooking into your field, but you also don't want the energy that you're working to create to be siphoned out for other people who aren't even doing the work. And this can happen a lot. The other thing that can happen too is there are entities that are in the unseen realm that can hook into your field or either hook into someone else's field and get to you through the transference of the energy cord. Okay, and these entities, we're in a spiritual war. Okay, these entities are looking to really distort and disrupt our awakening process, the awakening of many, as well as the spiritual enlightenment path that many of us are on to reach higher states of love, peace, unity, joy, all of the things that will completely shift this planet of consciousness. They're looking to disrupt that. And they can either hook into your field if you're in a state of fear, or kind of frequencies at that level, or they can hook into other people who can use the cords. They can use the cord that's attached to you and use them because they're constantly in fear and get to you. Okay? So there's a lot of different ways this can happen. So I'm going to teach you guys my method of how I kind of clear my field of energy cords. Now, for those of you who work in healing, okay, or you have clients, you work with a lot of people, maybe you're around a lot of people at your job, anything that you're doing where you're interacting with a lot of people on a daily basis, you're going to want to maybe clear your field regularly, possibly even every day, just to start getting your field stronger. And I'm going to teach you how to do that all in one shot, so you don't have to actually go through an energy clearing per person. Okay. And Adam, welcome to the membership program. Guys, if you want to become a YouTube member, all YouTube members have access to my weekly tarot readings, which you can only see if you're a member. So link for that is in the description below. Okay, guys, so let's get into it. Let's get into how I cut energy cords to keep my energy field clear and clean. The first thing that you guys need to really understand is the power behind your intention. Your intention carries more weight than what you think you need to do in order to energetically cut your cords. Because let's face it, this is a very intangible exercise that many are not even sure if they're doing it right. I promise you that if you come in with a powerful intention, that you thoroughly believe in yourself, it is created instantly. It will happen regardless, okay? So please remember that before you start your cord cutting, set your intention. I like to set my intention that I am choosing out of self-love for myself, as well as love for the other, to cut and release all energy cords that I may have attached to me, that are known or unknown to my awareness, in order to preserve my field and to allow their field to stay clean from my energy as well, okay? Because we all have our own bad days as well, and we don't want to be transferring that energy. So it is an act of love to be doing this. I think some people may feel like this isn't, like that you're taking something away, but really you're just kind of cleaning both sides of the street. And it's not your job to clean anyone else's side of the street, but at least you're taking care of yourself. And so just remember that to go in with this intention of love and to believe it, to feel it in your cells that you're going to, that you're doing this. And that may just mean you need to take a few deep breaths before you do it, really settle in and get square with that energy. The next thing that I do is I will visualize that person standing in front of me, or if I'm trying to cut cords with a lot of people, maybe you came into contact with a lot of people that you want to make sure that you keep your field clean, and it may not even be that there's anything really wrong with their energy, but it's just a matter of really just owning your own stuff and not letting any possible interference come in, that I will put everyone on a stage. I had a friend teach me this technique, which was great. And you just put everyone up on a stage and your whole focus is just on that. So any cords that are coming from that stage from all of those people, you can then start cutting all at once. So you don't have to think about doing this with every single person. Okay, so what I also like to do when I'm visualizing people is I like to see them in, at the very least, a neutral state of being, so that there's no weird energy through the cord cutting. I don't want to see them in fear. I don't want to see them in anger. I don't want to see them, even if I have issues, maybe I'm upset with this person or whatever it may be. I always try to maintain a state of neutrality for them and for myself, because the state of neutrality is the 0 point. And the 0 point is what allows us to jump into new frequencies, to jump into new timelines with a lot more ease. Okay, so it just creates a very sacred and neutral, energetic, I guess you could say, ground to do the work. So once you have the person or people that you are choosing to cut cords with in your mind, and you're seeing this, I will then call in the sword archetype. Okay, so a lot of people will use Archangel Michael, and he'll be holding his sword. It's his sword of truth. If anyone studies Archangel Michael, many people know this. I actually just use the sword itself, the archetype of the sword. Now, the sword is really important because the sword represents choice. It represents decision. And every time you make a choice or a decision by wielding that sword, you slice through the current reality and you make a new one. Okay? You're separating what was and you're saying, I want something new. And the sword becomes the shaper of destiny. So the sword is very powerful. And at first, when I first started doing my own cord cutting, I would actually hold the sword and I would imagine myself holding the sword and just cutting all the cords around me. But pretty soon I realized I didn't need to do that. And I allowed the sword to operate on its own consciousness. And I allow it to operate like its own being. And I would watch this sword. I basically set it free and ask it to cut all known and unknown energy cords that are no longer serving me to my highest good, and begin cutting. And I see it starting to spin, and it just starts spinning in the air, and it starts cutting all around my field. So first I'll go down the front of me, then I'll go down the side, and then I'll come around the back. I'll come around the other side. I'll go across the top of my head, and I'll go below my feet. Okay, and I'll just keep doing this. And I tend to spend a little bit more time on the front and the back. And while you're doing this, really tune in to the feeling of resistance, because you will be able to feel a certain level of resistance if you've managed to fully cut the cord, or you may have only cut into it but not fully cut it. Okay, so there are some cords that are harder to cut than others, especially if they've been there for a long time, and especially with sexual partners. The sexual cord that is created through intimacy is the hardest cord to cut. So especially when I'm cutting cords around the sacral and root chakra, I spend a little bit more time there and make sure that if I feel like there's just more resistance there as the sword's going through, I'll just make sure. And I can often see the cord getting, it's almost like, imagine an axe and you're trying to cut wood, okay? And you're getting there, and eventually the wood splits. So just do all of that, okay? Now, once you feel in your heart of hearts, and you'll know this, and don't have any doubts, just go with the feeling and believe it's true. Once this is done, what I imagine is seawater washing up around my whole entire body, like my feet, okay? Just a few inches of seawater that is washed up around me. And I see it taking all of the energy cords that have fallen off, okay, and allow them to fall into that water or be swept away from my field on the ground and pulled into the sea. Now, salt water is extremely powerful in transmuting negative energies, clearing negative energy. That's why we take salt baths. That's why going into the ocean is extremely healing, and you feel better after you do it. It's a great detox physically, but on an energetic level, it's extremely powerful. Ancient civilizations have used salt for since the beginning of time, okay, to ward off any kind of negative energies. And so I like to see the sea kind of wash up around my feet and wash away all of the cords, and know that the cords are being transmuted into a neutral state of energy to be washed away and recycled back through the water. Once that is done, I then put my focus back on the person or the people that are standing in front of me or on a stage. And I start to not only surround them in white light, but I imagine white light opening up from behind them. And this is to give them a sense of peace and safety, because oftentimes many people don't realize this, but they're hooking into your energy because they need something that you have, and they may not even know it consciously. And they don't even know that they're using that. And so when something gets taken away, unconsciously, that person may start to freak out. Now, it could be on a very minimal level. It could be on a really big level. And what I like to do is I like to surround them in white light, because this helps to minimize that so that there aren't future attacks or trying to reattach the cord. Because oftentimes when you do your cord cutting, what might happen is you may experience someone, because you've become lighter and brighter, and they're now not feeling that lighter and brighterness that they've been kind of siphoning off. They're going to notice that in some way and unconsciously maybe try to create a situation where they pull you into some sort of dramatic event, or reach out to you to try and talk to you or make that reconnection. It's just something to be aware of. Okay, so I surround them in white light, and then I turn them around and tell them to follow the white light and go into the white light and send them off and say thank you, and just wish them well on their journey, and let them walk into the white light and disappear. Okay, so that is kind of just a nice ceremony that allows them to follow their own light and their own path, and sending them with protective energy that is also cleansing and clearing. So once that is done, the final thing that I'll do to really kind of strengthen my field and make sure there's no porous areas. Remember, when you're cutting something, it can cause a bit of damage to your field. It could there could be a hole from where the cord was, or there could just be some sort of damage in some way, or a weakness in that field, in that area of the field that was where the cord was cut, as well as there may be areas in your field that you might not be aware of that might be weak. So what I like to do is a kind of a final washover is from the center of my being. I imagine golden light beginning to grow from within inside me, and just start letting to emanate into all of my cells, and then see that light pouring out of my physical body and into my energetic field. Okay, and I just see that pouring into my field and really kind of filling up my entire energy bubble around me. And I see it filling any weak spots or damaged areas, and using that golden energy as not just protection, but also very healing, and allow that to kind of strengthen the field until I feel like everything feels a lot stronger. And once that feels a lot stronger, then I know I'm done. And that's basically how I use the cord cutting and also take care of my own spiritual hygiene, so that not only have I cut the cords, but I'm minimizing the potential of reattachments. Okay. So does anyone have any questions that they'd like me to answer when it comes to this stuff? Because I know it can get a little bit daunting. Remember, the first thing I said was your intention is absolutely one of the most important things that you need. You have to have not only the intention to believe in your own power and believe in your own ability to do this, but you also have to have the intention of love. When you bring love into any situation, you're always going to come out with a higher outcome. So if you guys have any questions, just write question in cap locks in the chat, so I know and I can find it a lot easier. Successful Sarah, crazy she's saying this because I did this in a really bad narcissistic work relationship a few years ago. I imagined tree roots and was cutting with an axe but Nicole's filling in my missing knowledge. Oh, very cool. Yeah. So for any of you empaths out there who are in a narcissistic relationship, and that could be with any kind of relationship, it could be with a mother, it could be with a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. It could be a coworker. It could be a friend. It could, it doesn't matter. Those are extremely, extremely draining, siphoning energetic relationships where you need to protect yourself. Those are some of the hardest ones to protect yourself from. Okay, Peter, what are the right kind of stones and crystals to use? I am just a big advocate for follow your own intuition. You could use, why am I drawing a blank on it? Quartz crystal's really good. Is it black tourmaline? That can be really good. Let me just really quickly look here, just so I make sure I've got this correct for you. Let me just look in my crystal book. But I know there is a black one that is bloodstone is really good because bloodstone is for purification. Okay. Black tourmaline, I was right. Protection. So it's an opaque black mineral, and it's got a lot of different striations through it. And basically, here's actually a mantra that you guys can use with black tourmaline, or you may even want to use it in your protection ceremony or spiritual hygiene ceremony, is I trust in my infinite light. Fear is illusion. Love is real. I love that. That's like so good. But basically, at the mental and emotional level, black tourmaline facilitates focus and self-trust, which backs up actions in the world, cuts attachments, and activates a powerful sense of security and personal power. More spiritually, it can activate the base chakra and may play a role in lifting the Kundalini energy. Okay, so black tourmaline's a great one for you. But again, I want to say, follow your own intuition. If something's really called to you, and there's a reason why maybe you may need to hold it. It could be balancing another energy while you're trying to clear. So just really follow your own intuition with that. You're welcome, Peter. Okay, so let me see here. Oh, Yuvonda, this is great advice. When releasing cords with a former sexual partner, 11 days, 0 contact, and catch all thoughts about them and change your thoughts. Yeah, be aware of like how much you're thinking about someone, because you can actually reattach that cord just from thinking about them more than you probably want to. Okay, so Trudy, question. Lots of people say you shouldn't cut because it's not good, too aggressive. So are they saying like, I've heard this before. Okay, if you feel like it's too aggressive, then you can ask for the cord to dissolve. So you can use a different method and ask for the cord to be permeated with salt energy, okay? Salt water energy to dissolve and maybe break down the energy cord slowly. If you want. Personally, it doesn't bother me. It's an energy cord. It may have attached there and I didn't want it there. So as far as I'm concerned, get off my field. Sometimes, we need a little bit of tough love. But again, use your own. If something doesn't feel right to you, then you shouldn't do it. Okay? Everyone's different. Obsidian, yes, is a good one. Patriot Research gal, that is also a good one to use. Obsidian's a great one. What is the name of that crystal book? Oh, this is my crystal oracle. This is an oracle book, actually. I've got an oracle deck, and this is the liquid crystal oracle. And that's where I get all my information on a lot of these crystals. It's got a lot of great stuff in it. Do you have some people that don't behave as neutral as you wish in your visualization? No. It's my visual, so I know I am in total control. So I get to control the reality through what I desire. So if you're seeing that you find that people aren't remaining in a neutral state, breathe, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths in, breathe love into them. Okay, I'm being guided to do this, to share this tool with you guys. This is a really good tool to use with someone you've had an argument with, or you maybe you're not speaking to, and there's just this really uncomfortable energy exchange where you're maybe not talking, who knows. But close your eyes and visualize them standing in front of you, and focus on their heart. And actually visualize their heart and opening their heart up and writing the word love on their heart, closing the heart up and almost like breathing love back to them. And that will, I've had incredible success, like instant success with this, guys. People I was not talking to instantly like text me and were apologizing or wanted to talk and make amends. So that is a tool that you can use to help if you find that happening. Oh, awareness, you just wanted to share that you asked a couple minutes before the live all of the Ascended Masters if they could please show you what you can do to get rid of entities, and now you saw this live. That's amazing. Great job. Okay. Yes, Wise Mama Bear, you got a wrench, girl. You got a wrench. Glad you made it. Okay, Alfredo, hey guys, I've used a criterion that may be similar to cord cutting. After a relationship is no longer working, politely withdraw from the relationship. Yeah, you can. The only thing is that there are certain cords that are very difficult to remove. And that's why, and I understand this, I totally get it. When we're on the spiritual path of wanting to maintain higher frequencies of love and peace, that we may feel like sometimes to get a little, what we might think as aggressive is not in alignment, but there is nothing wrong with standing up for your own field. And if a boundary has been crossed, you need to stand up for yourself, and there has to be a little bit of that warrior that comes through. It doesn't mean that you're hurting someone or anything like that. In fact, the whole cord cutting thing is a very big act of love. I can't stress that enough. It's an act of self-love, and it's an act of love for the other person as well. Hey, Stacy, good to see you. So guys, I'm going to be going live later tonight with Yuvonda on my podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a great show. We're going to talk a little bit more about energy. We'll get a little bit more into this topic with her because she's a Reiki master, and I just had a Reiki session from her yesterday. Super, super powerful. And she's going to be sharing a lot of her wisdom and knowledge with us, as well as some of the things that happened to her as she started to increase her frequency field of her body, her energy field, everything, what kind of started to happen for her, the different encounters she's had with reptilians, what she's actually seen physically with her eyes out in, like, let's just call it a park, although I don't think it was a park, and also other beings showing up, like lion beings. So it's going to be a fantastic show, a lot of fun. We'll also take some questions. And this spiritual journey that we're all on, it's so important. If you're feeling alone, if you feel like you don't know who to turn to, or you feel like you don't know who your tribe is, you can always, I just want to let you guys know, I have my alchemy program. The link for that is in the description below. Please feel free to join if you want to join our alchemy family. And know that you will not be alone. It's just a really great community, especially in our private Discord, where we're just really vulnerable and open with one another about what we're all going through or asking questions. It's just the perfect place if you're not really sure where to turn to. Okay, so that's always an option for you guys. All right, everyone. Oh, Nikita, thank you so much for that super chat, girl. Thank you so much. It's so sweet of you. All right, guys, I love you so much. I'm going to be back with you guys in a few hours, okay, at 8 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see many of you back here again, and I'll be ready for another show. And again, if you guys are interested in joining the Hats Telegram channel, the description is in the link is in the description below. Another big channel that's really not part of the political divide, but more just about really awakening to truth as on a whole. All right, guys, I love you so much, and I'll be back with you soon.